Welcome, specifically to Miss and possibly the 5 other people who will hunt me down after this gets uploaded, because it's probably one of the few new content this fandom has had in a while. Anyway, my name is Purple, and welcome to my first ever animated movie/series review. As you can see from the title, I've chosen to review my favorite childhood show, that still has me in a death grip, Kaitou Joker. I plan to give a general review of the whole series since it's pretty short, with it being only 4 seasons long and each season having 13 episodes, which in total makes the show only 52 episodes long. Make more, please! But first, let's start with a quick summary of the plot. I'll try to simplify this as easily as I can, without sounding insane. Okay, the show follows the 2 main characters called Hachi and Joker on their adventures around the world stealing treasures from anyone, commonly the character Mr. Canary, with the condition of warning the owners of said treasures to make it a competition. While on their adventures, they encounter enemies and rivals that get in the way of their goals, commonly detectives or the character Inspector Oniyama and his assistants Ginko and Momo, or any other villains of the week the show throws at the main characters. The show splits itself into 2 arcs, which takes 2 seasons to explain each. Season 1 and 2 being what I call the Clover arc, while Season 3 and 4 cover what I call the Phoenix arc. The Clover arc mainly focuses on the big villain, Professor Clover, and his beef with the main characters. To put it simply, his goal was to steal time from the world with the help of a character called Rose, who is the MacGuffin of the first 2 seasons. Before... Then the Phoenix arc begins with the introduction of the characters President D, Phoenix, and Hoshi. It gets a little complicated to explain here shortly, but in the shortest way possible for me to explain it, Phoenix is an alien trapped on Earth who just wants to go home, and the MacGuffin of the arc is his spaceship, which is referred to as the Ancient Treasure. While on their quest to get this ancient treasure, the characters face more villains that get in their way, and... Clearly, that is a very oversimplified version of the story. But that covers everything important, so let's start with the storytelling. For the first few episodes, the show follows a very episodic way of writing. However, that changes the further the story progresses. Season 1, Episode 5 starts to show an overarching narrative that intertwines the characters' relationships and their backstories, focusing especially on Joker's relationship with the recurring villain of the season, Shadow Joker, and the mysterious and intimidating Clover, which makes the first 2 seasons very enjoyable. They're also able to balance the show's overall light tone, as it is a kids' show, while also making any emotional scenes highly impactful, which makes the show feel surprisingly mature for the assumed target audience. Season 3 and 4, however, while I personally enjoyed it, does leave a few things to be desired. While not bad, the story does start implementing far too obvious solutions to their problems, with the introduction of the character Hoshi in Season 3, which does take away from the character's achievements a bit. The story also starts taking a slightly more mature tone to its storytelling, but still stays lighthearted enough that I think the target audience is still somewhat the same, but the mature tone is far more obvious than before, and I think it's because of the themes they explore. Onto the animation. The show doesn't really have smooth animation, for an exception being the intro. With what I assume is a limited budget and a small animation team, they did what they could and I actually like it. And especially since it's an anime, I never expected smooth animation in the first place. Not saying anime can't have smooth animation, because some animes definitely have smooth animation. If I'm not mistaken, the show uses 8 frames per second to animate the characters, which is the average for animes, but that is just with my own rough counts, by pausing the episode and counting the frames myself, so take it with a grain of salt. It's not the most detailed anime to ever exist, but I never minded that, to be honest. In conclusion, the show, while still aimed towards a younger target audience, is still good despite my criticisms, which isn't a lot to be honest. And I think it deserves more attention because of how good the story is. I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, but that might just be because of personal bias. I do still recommend giving it a watch though, as it is, at the very least, entertaining and fun to dissect. Anyway, this is fun, and I'll catch you all later.